Deep in the forest just outside of Louisville is my castle base, and I've spent the last month and a half converting this dilapidated stronghold into something I can call a home. And currently I'm trying to wrap my head around building this forge to begin blacksmithing some cool new armor. Now you might be wondering why. Well, not far away from here is the Louisville Mall, and this place, well, it's full of the undead. Too many for me to count. They have completely taken over this city, and I want to take it back from them. But it all begins right here at this very mall. However, before we can do all this, we need to go back to where this all left off. So, after spending countless hours building my beautiful 2-story home inside this fortress, I hadn't exactly accomplished everything I had hoped for in this life. Since the new Build 42 update came out, they had added so much more content with crafting and blacksmithing. You could literally forge any tool, weapon, or armor you could possibly need to become fully self-sufficient. Arguably, this is the main thing I need to figure out, since I've never dabbled in this sort of stuff before. Everything was completely new to me, and I would have to figure it out as we go. However, this isn't my only goal. First off, in order to do anything with blacksmithing and foraging gear, I also needed a handful of things. One being getting my pottery and masonry skill up so I can build and craft certain things needed for metalworking. Secondly, at some point I will need to return to town to collect more books and magazines for unlocking more recipes. And lastly, a few other random things I want to accomplish, like working on my garage, building a proper foraging house, build a road to make trips into town a little easier, and once all is said and done, clear out the entire Louisville Mall.
Let's lay out the plans for right now. Let's see here. So we have all this space, a whole lot of space here to work with. So first of all, I want to build a forge or an area for blacksmithing. And I was thinking maybe I could do that somewhere over here next to my garage. And I also wanted to, you know, build a few things, few extensions to the base, maybe in that same area or somewhere over here. I was thinking of adding like a workshop or like a building for like storing loot. And then maybe I wanted to get some chickens. I wanted to, you know, build a parking lot for more cars. There's so much to do. We have a lot of space to work with, of course, and a lot of loot that needs to be found. But at the end of this, I want to make one of the coolest armors I possibly can, and I want to clear out that mall. So to begin, I would collect some logs I had previously gathered and had stored in my garage, and then relocate them just outside where I would plan to build a forage and a pottery area. Then I had also knocked out a wall just outside my garage to build a door allowing myself easy access in and out from this side of the base. It was also around this time when I had forgotten and realized that this fortress has a makeshift forge of its own. It wasn't much though, but I figured it could save me some time with setting this all up. It only had a simple furnace, which could be used for smelting down items into raw materials like iron and steel chunks. I could even use this to make glass and casting an anvil, which is pretty cool. But nonetheless, we would have to wait a little while before we can do anything with this stuff. First of all, we can make a primitive forge with clay, cement, stone, and a stone anvil. Okay, so it's different kinds. Primitive forge and primitive furnace. And then there's a simple forge and a simple furnace, which we actually already have a simple furnace back here, which for some reason you can't relocate them. All right, let's make the charcoal burning pile. We're gonna put that somewhere like right here, I'm thinking. Okay, so now we can burn wood into charcoal. Make stone block from stone. Requires masonry level 1. Oh, okay. Oh boy, this is gonna be a very extensive process, isn't it?
Yeah, I will admit, I had no idea what exactly I was about to get myself into. I didn't know this yet, but I hadn't realized just how annoying and extensive this initial process is. So here's the order of things. Currently, I have a simple furnace that came with this base location, which you already know. Then I learned that I would need to make both a primitive forge and a charcoal pit to begin with. Also, I should mention, I have to give props to Mr. Jazzfile on YouTube for covering a lot of this stuff in a well put together guide. If it weren't for him, I would be completely lost on how to do things. So thanks to him, honestly. But anyways, after I had built the charcoal pit, I now needed both stones and something called stone blocks. Stone blocks will be needed later down the road when we plan to build more advanced blacksmithing stations. Also, not to mention, but before we can do any of this, I'm gonna need to start leveling up my masonry skill. Now, I also wasn't really sure the best way to go about getting stones since it's changed quite a bit in Build 42. But I did see that you could go mining for stones at some point, so I would just grab a masonry chisel and a pickaxe and take one of my cars around the area and search for some stone deposits.
So there should be some stone somewhere around here. Oh yeah, here's some right up here. Can I do anything with these nodes here? Crushed limestone and limestone. Oh, okay, cool. Get some limestone from this. I might actually be able to turn these into the stone blocks I needed.
So I would pretty much drive around the area near my base and collect all sorts of mineral deposits for limestone and flint, which could be used to make what I need. However, I was a little confused about this part because no matter what I did, for some reason you can't mine these large stone deposits. I'm not sure if this was an intentional design or not, but it would be cool to be able to mine these and get tons of stones from them. Maybe that will happen down the road, who knows. But since this was a dead end, I still needed to figure out where else I can get stones from. Although for now I would take all the limestone and flint I had gathered so far and return back to base.
We got charcoal, we got flint and stones, and now we should be able to like turn these things into stone nodes, I think. Oh, that's right. I need level 1 masonry. Okay, how do I get masonry then? All right, let's just sleep real quickly. We're getting tired.
Yeah, so I will need to find a way to get my masonry skill up, but in the meantime, I would head upstairs to sleep off the night and get back to the grind in the morning. Then I would go through my base storage and gather all sorts of masonry and metalworking tools to lay out next to where my blacksmithing area will be. And then I would put together some food inside my kitchen before just jumping around from thing to thing. I will admit the crafting stuff at first was a little overwhelming, and I was just interested in looking at all of the sorts of different recipes and things I could do, and just pretty much try to figure out what I needed. But then later in the day, I would take a trip towards the direction of town to look for stones, and I had noticed that nature was beginning to take over, completely plaguing the fields with bushes and new trees. It doesn't seem like it yet, but this overgrowth will eventually make me go insane. But anyways, I would approach the forest just before reaching the city, and I had noticed that there were a bunch of rocks scattered all around the forest floor, so I would hop out of my car and check one out.
Oh, found a large stone. Ah, it's one of those big things. It's too heavy for me to carry for some reason. Hold on, let me move some things into my bag. Can I pick you up now? Surely I can pick you up, right? There we go. That is a heavy rock.
Fortunately, I now had found a method for collecting stones, which I could use for crafting the primitive forge and stone blocks. So I would load up my van with plenty of stones and begin heading back to base.
All right, we have, I think, all the stones I feel like I would need for now. Let's head back home, sleep off the night a little bit, and then we'll try to nap some of these stones and get our masonry skill up. I'm pretty sure you can take those really large stones, the ones that are like 40 encumbrance, and then you can turn them into like 12, I think, large stones each. So should work, and that should hopefully get my masonry skill up. Now it's just me versus the bushes and trying to drive home without getting stuck on one. My next video, Mr. Brollow kills every single bush population.
And with a day ahead of us, I began sorting out the stones I had collected the night prior, and I would begin napping the larger stones into smaller stones, which I had then also realized that napping stones doesn't give you XP in masonry at all. It's almost like I completely glanced over the fact that napping has its own skill tree. Yeah. Well, anyways, I guess we were at a standstill for now because I didn't know an effective way to level up my masonry skill at this current moment. But I had put all this blacksmithing stuff to the side because I had made a mental note to return to town and loot the gun store near the mall. Speaking of which, ammo is going to be extremely useful for clearing out the mall later on, so I made sure to grab it all and leave nothing behind. Then I would transfer everything into the back of my truck and head back home before it got too late. I also made the decision to steal a small car in a parking lot along the way because I could use this back in my house to practice all my mechanic skills. Now, just for reference, I had hitched my car to this tow truck at 12 a.m. and because of these damn bushes, I hadn't gotten home until 4 a.m. in game. I really need to exterminate these bushes or at least build a damn road.
Just drive right there. Come on, I've been doing this for 3 hours in game. Finally home, but still taking so long just to drag this car through the dirt.
So in the morning, I would go ahead and just sort through all my loot and do a little bit of base management before heading back into town. At this current moment, I was primarily looking for cement, which I needed for crafting and building masonry objects. There was a small construction district not far away from where I was, and it was actually right near the mall. So I would take my van over to this area and almost drive straight into a car wreck.
Okay. Put those cars there. What's the chance there's something in there? Do I have my sledgehammer on? I do. Nice. I'm a f***ing animal! You want some too? Oh, man. There's still more of you.
I began clearing the zombies in the area, but I had planned to search all these houses to see if there were any cement bags laying around. However, all I managed to find were tools, metal sheets, and planks. Not exactly what I was looking for, but I will actually make a mental note to come back here at some point because these metal sheets could be useful later down the road. But anyways, I would also explore another construction site not far away, but it was beginning to get pretty dark out and suddenly hundreds of zombies began pouring out of the buildings nearby. So I would cut my losses for now and just return back home.
Alright, screw this. We're going home. This was a bust. Too many zombies. Oh my god. Did like a million just like spawn or something? Oh my god, what? Oh my god. How'd I clip on that street pole?
In the morning, I would check up on my crops I had planted over a month ago and noticed that my broccoli was starting to reach the final stages before harvesting. However, my other crops were still a little behind, but I would be able to harvest these at some point soon. I would also take a moment to check up on my sheep, and then I figured, you know what, I'm gonna take a break for a little while and just go try out fishing for a change. So I crafted a makeshift fishing rod, and I would take my car over to the lake and give this a try. The recent update had completely overhauled the way fishing works, and it even added its own minigame. I will say, I'm a big fan of the way this feels, and thank God it's not as annoying as Stardew Valley's fishing minigame. Yeah, don't even get me started on that one.
Pulling this fish. No! Release tension, release tension. Okay, don't break my line. Don't you do it. Stop going so far away. He's fighting me, man. Oh yeah, we got him. Ooh, a channel catfish. Ooh, 64 hunger. That's really good.
So after fishing, I would return home and put away the fish in my freezer, and then return to my blacksmithing area to mess around with some clay molding. I had some clay sacks laying around in my base, which I had found earlier on in my run, and I was able to use some of this clay to create some tile molds. However, I was going to need to build a kiln in order to fire these and actually be able to use them.
All right, sick. So I just made some clay tiles. Let's make an advanced kiln. Apparently it costs the exact same as that. It's pretty ironic. Sweet. So now we have a clay kiln.
But unfortunately, it had gotten too dark outside to continue working, since now you need a light to actually perform some tasks like actually using the clay kiln. So I decided to just go to bed and sleep off the night and return to this in the morning. But I had unintentionally woken up at 5 AM while it was still dark outside. So I just grabbed the flashlight and used it to brighten up the area and began firing up some of these clay tiles in the kiln.
I just fired up some clay tiles. All right, so we still need to find cement. That is the only downside. Oh man, leveling up masonry is actually such a process.
Okay, so this is where it got a little complicated. Even if I wanted to make a primitive forge, I would also need to get my masonry skill up to level 2 so I can craft something called a stone anvil, which is needed for the primitive forge. The only problem was I was lacking the needed skill books to give myself enough of a boost to quickly get to level 2 in masonry. Plus, not to mention, but I was still looking for bags of concrete. So I later came up with a plan to take my car into town and loot some warehouses. Now, there is one particular warehouse building I knew of, but it was on the far opposite side of Louisville from me, so I had quite the drive ahead of me. I began loading up my van and took a shotgun with plenty of ammo with me, and I would begin heading into town. I had also planned to make a stop at the gas station along the way since my car was almost out of fuel. However, as I pulled up to the gas station, it seemed like a lot of zombies had migrated into the area, so I did what I could to kill off a good amount of them before I would get too exerted to continue. I would hop back into my van to rest for a moment and regain my strength before fighting off the rest of the horde.
These zombies everywhere. Oh my god, I gotta clear this whole place out again. Well, I will do what I must. I'm hoping they're going that direction towards the gunshots and they're not gonna come to me. They're just gonna sneak on back. Just gonna sneak on back.
So yeah, I unfortunately couldn't kill off all the zombies near the gas station for right now, so I chose to just return to it later. I also couldn't waste much time since I needed to get to the warehouse building, which was the sole reason why I came out here. Luckily, I had found this new van here in the parking lot, and I was able to hotwire it and then transfer some gas and all my items into it. I had to siphon some gas from a few cars in the parking lot, but I had enough gas for now to at least get me to where I was heading. So I took off in my new van, and eventually I made it all the way to the warehouse building. However, when I got there, I wasn't expecting just how many zombies there would be here at this warehouse. So I guess let's get to zombie clearing.
A survivor zombie? Oh yeah, he's got some shit on him. Got also some old cowboy western boots on him too. I gotta come back for that guy. Got the drip. kind of late. I think it would be wise if I maybe try to find like a building to sleep off the night in, or I could sleep in my car. Bright new day and back to zombie killing. Look at this place. I am really hoping I'm finding what I need here because this is a massive warehouse. Yeah, we're gonna be spending quite a little while just looting this entire place of everything it has.
Finally, I had the warehouse to myself and could loot everything in here. Now, if you didn't know, the reason why I chose this warehouse was because it had a little bit of everything. Food, clothing, books, tools, and materials alike. This was especially good because I managed to find the masonry books I needed, and I even came across a handful of tools and supplies I was also after, like cement and alcohol. The alcohol will be needed later down the road when I plan to clear the mall, and also to help with taking the edge off in case I get a little too sad. Oh, and I got this really cool hat. Anyways, I would do multiple trips from the warehouse to my van and filling up all my car storage with as much loot as it could hold. I would have to deal with the occasional lurker or two, but in the end, we finished looting everything I could manage to fit in my car and would begin heading back home. And after a long and exhausting drive home, I would avoid unloading my van until the morning and place all the alcohol I had in my inventory into the kitchen. Then I would head up to bed and sleep off the night. And with a new day ahead of us, I started off the morning by cooking up a delicious rabbit soup. I still had a little bit of rabbit meat left from my previous hunting venture, but I would soon need to stock up on some more protein. I think for a change, I might just live off fish from the river because I actually enjoy the fishing mechanic. But anyways, later on, I would start off by giving myself a well-needed bath and clean off all my clothes, since it had probably been over a month since I've given myself a proper bath. Then on the following day, I would begin sorting all my loot I had gotten from the warehouse and putting everything away in the boxes and cabinets around my base. And after everything was put away, I returned to my blacksmithing area where I would start crafting some bags of gravel. Now, this isn't something you can do in the vanilla game, but I had a mod that actually expands on some quality of life features like this one. It was pretty handy because now I was able to make some gravel flooring around my base, and I also intend on using it to finishing up the floor in my garage. But for now, I would head inside to begin reading the first masonry book to get an XP boost.
Finally, we have a XP boost in masonry. So now when I go and break up some stones and craft some gravel bags and such, I might be able to finally level up to level 1 and then actually build what I've been needing to build this entire time. Leveling up masonry, actually so hard.
So I began crushing up some stones and making gravel bags until I got masonry level 1. And finally, now I could craft stone blocks, which I also needed later on for a few other things. And without hesitation, I crafted a few of these, and in result, I was able to get my masonry skill up to level 2. I would then also go and read the next series of masonry books and then repeat the process. But not long after, I was able to get my masonry skill up to almost level 4 before I ended up getting a little distracted with unloading my van. I began placing a few little decorative things I had found in my travels, like this gnome and a flamingo.
Got a flamingo.
I think I'll call this one 𝐾𝐳. I had also built some composters near the farm, and then I would return back to my blacksmithing area and start working on building a stone anvil. But first, I want to talk to you guys about something I personally would like to share with you all, and that would be Factor, the sponsor of this video. For someone like myself, I've always kind of struggled with meal planning and incorporating the right nutrition into my own diet. But with Factor, I've personally been able to save both time and money while also having access to fresh meals. You get quality, chef-crafted, dietitian-approved, and ready-to-eat meals in just 2 minutes. And as an extremely picky eater, having access to a weekly menu of over 35 options means that I can take the stress out of meal planning and still enjoy an exceptional range of delicious meals. Not to mention, but Factor has gourmet meals that feature premium ingredients like filet mignon, shrimp, truffle butter, and more. Not only that, but Factor offers heaps of snack options like breakfast, smoothies, juices, and snacks that definitely come in handy when I don't have the time to worry about all the hassle and mess that comes with cooking. And if you are someone who likes the conveniency of freshly prepared meals and a variety in what you eat, then you can get 50% off and free shipping on your first Factor box using my link. You can click the link in the description or scan the QR code on screen. And for every single purchase you make, you help keep me and this channel running so that I can make more content like this in the future. Thanks again to Factor for sponsoring this video.
Okay, and there we go. We have a stone anvil used to build a primitive forage, useless on its own. So now I can make this guy, which I just need some more stones. Now I'm just missing clay cement, which I'm pretty sure I can make, because I now have sandbags. How do I do it? It's all right. So we just need some clay. Let me just take one out. Now we need water, which I have some buckets here. Let's see here. I should be able to make the clay, but I have the water. Is it not working because it's considered tainted water? I have the sandbags. I have the clay. Bruh. It's actually not counting because it's considered tainted water, and I have to use normal water. Okay, well, that's just annoying. All right, let me just drop this back down here for right now. We'll go boil this water. Can we make it now? What? I'm confused. Does it need to be 0 out of 10? Do I have it backwards? Is it just meant to be an empty bucket?
Yeah, at first I thought the issue was the clay cement required non-tainted water, so I went to boil it at my stove, but even after trying that, it just didn't seem to let me craft it no matter what I did. I was literally at this for 20 minutes.
Bro, it's actually just like not working. I can't craft what I need to. Okay, I've literally tried everything. I don't know what's happening. I have both the bucket full with water, because apparently it has to be not tainted water. I have an empty bucket. I have the resources I need to craft this thing, but it still thinks it's missing. I don't know what's happening, but I just can't craft this item, and I need it in order to progress. How is this not working? If this is needed for doing a big step in the process of blacksmithing. What am I doing something wrong? I have to be doing something wrong, right?
And eventually I figured that this was probably just a bug at the time, and later I learned that you could just substitute clay cement with concrete. So I went ahead and tried to craft that, and thankfully this had worked unlike the other.
All right, hold on, let me see if I can use just like maybe just a bucket of concrete. Like, can I make buckets of concrete at all? I have concrete powders. Let's see. Okay, let's fill this with some water. Empty bucket. Okay, so there, it lets me create concrete. I can right click it and do it. Can I do it when I'm over here? Now, can I use this to make anything in blacksmithing? Okay, I might actually be able to. I think I can get away from using the clay cement. Apparently, clay cement just doesn't work. You can't craft it, but you can craft concrete powder. Or bucket of concrete. I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense, but you know what, it is what it is.
I would go ahead and build a simple forge, and right away, I was presented with a whole bunch of possible crafting options. I will admit, it may look a little overwhelming, but it's pretty simple, if you just ignore like 90% of what the crafting menu shows you. First off, you can smelt down an assortment of items to get their raw materials, and then with those, you can take them over to the forge and craft iron or steel bars in a variety of sizes. Then we take these and we can now craft tools or some weapons like a small knife. And I found that you could just craft these over and over to level up your metalworking skill. It's sort of a way to grind XP while not having to invest a large amount of resources. So to begin with, I went ahead and read a metalworking book to get the XP boost I needed, and then I would return to my forge and start crafting a small knife.
Yep, there we go. Okay, we got some XP in metalworking, so now the next one should get us to level 2 for sure. Yep, there we go. Oh, we just learned a whole lot of recipes too by doing that. So now I think I can actually take these knives and bring it back to the furnace over here, and I should be able to smelt them back down. Okay, so now we have an anvil mold. Now I should be able to forge an anvil, probably in here, right? Can I make an anvil in here? No. Was it over here in the furnace? Yeah. Okay, so I can craft an anvil. Wait, what? I need a ceramic one? Oh, that's right, because I need to put clay in this and then fire it. Okay, I have to do it over here.
Okay, so just for clarification, I now had level 1 in metalworking, and I was almost halfway to level 2. However, I had gotten a little confused here at this part, and I'm gonna be honest, this took me so long to figure out. I'm just so dense, man. I swear, I don't know. But anyways, I now had something called a wooden anvil mold, which is needed for making a ceramic anvil mold, which is then used for casting an iron anvil. However, what I did not know was how to make the ceramic one. I spent so long trying to search every little crafting UI and menu just to figure this out. But it turns out you need something called a hand press, which is used for putting clay into molds. Funny thing is, it literally says it on the hand press in the crafting menu, but only if it just said it on the wooden anvil mold itself. That would have saved me so much time. But either way, I eventually figured this out. In the meantime, I thought I was literally missing a recipe or a magazine that I needed to unlock this. I even convinced myself that this must be the problem, and I decided I needed to go back into town to look for more magazines. Yeah, what a freaking rabbit hole. Now, with that being said, I made the dumbest decision that I could. You know what? Let's just go to the Louisville University, I said. It'll be fine. I'll just drive right up there and grab all sorts of books and stuff, and I'll be right on my way out. Yeah, no, not even close.
Is this it? One of these are the... This is the dormitory. This one. Fuck me, bro. Fuck me.
At first, I kind of regretted this, but I could really benefit myself from actually looting this library, and even if I could get inside, I would probably be able to get every single missing skill book and magazine that I don't have yet. So, you know what? That's exactly what I plan to do.
This is so fucking crazy, the amount of zombies here. Dude, this is like not even worth it. It's just bringing more zombies here. Where are all y'all coming from? Wait a minute. Actually, hold on. Hopefully.
I had just found an ambulance, which I could use as a distraction to lure zombies away from the university, which was only a few blocks away. So after switching on the siren, I would drive a little further up the road and find a place I could rest for a moment while I would watch the zombies begin collecting around the ambulance. And then I would get back to working my way into that library.
Uh-oh. Okay. Oh, we lost our tire. Please have gas. Nice. Bro, another f***ing tire? Oh my god! Woo! Oh my god, how did I get out of there? Oh my god, look at them all over here. It's time to set them ablaze. Oh my god, it's time to throw a Molotov right in that mosh pit there. I can't even tell if the fire even went off or not. There's just so many here. This is insane. Maybe we could sneak in right here. Oh my god, there's so many books in here, dude. It's insane. Medieval armory? Foraging. There's so many books here. I should have taken note of which books I don't have and do have. Fracking.
So, I had finally managed to get inside the library, and I didn't waste any time. I looted every book and magazine I didn't already have. But I had to be quick because there was still a bunch of zombies in the area. And not long later, zombies began pouring in and finding their way to me. So, I made a run for it and I got back to my truck and I figured, you know what, it's time to finally go home. I had spent almost 2 hours here trying to clear this place out and, you know what, I miss my castle. But with all the magazines and extra skill books, I should be able to craft almost everything now. But on my way home, I had forgot that I had left my gas station nearby uncleared. So I spent a little bit of time just hot wiring some cars I found in a parking lot, and then I would use them as weapons to clear out the zombies next to the gas station. It took a little while, but I was finally able to refill my truck at the gas station.
Oh! What? Alright. Oh, they just keep coming in little tiny little stragglers. Just screw off, please. I don't want any more of this. I want it to end. I just want gas. I just want to get out of here. Alright, I think that's majority, if not all of them, at least in the closest vicinity to the gas station. I'm gonna pull around right here, turn on the gas, the generator, and then fill up and get out of here. Alright, and there we go. You know, I'm just thinking about it now with all the work I had to do to clear out the library. The school. I'm kind of dreading looking forward to having to clear out the entire mall. That thing's gonna be a pain because not all of them are gonna be able to navigate out of the mall either.
So yeah, not long later, I began driving home and I noticed that the overgrowth leading to my base was really starting to get out of hand. At some point, I will need to build a road to make trips in and out of town a little easier. But in the meantime, I had unloaded my truck of all the new books and magazines I had gotten from the library. And then I would read everything I could given my current levels, including all the new magazines I had just gotten. This is also what I had later realized that I actually never needed to go to the library in search of magazines, because all I needed to craft the ceramic anvil was the hand press.
Oh, I'm kind of kind of annoyed about this. I'm really hoping that this is not the case. Oh my god. Okay. This entire time, all I needed was a hand-operated press. That's all I needed. Why are these things not just made clear? I went through all the hassle of clearing out the... Oh man, I'm broken inside.
I made the ceramic anvil mold and then I would take it over to the kiln where I would fire it. Now I could use this to make an anvil, but I still needed like 16 iron bar halves. I didn't really have much of a surplus of metal right now to make this, so I would plan to head into town at some point to get some more. But for now, I was sick of being away from home, so I would just do a little bit of work around the base, opening up a way for me to drive my car in and out of the castle, and then I started laying dirt around to act as a road or a pathway for my cars. Also in the hope to stop bushes and stuff from growing growing everywhere. And then I started laying dirt around to act as a road or a pathway for my cars, also in the hope to stop bushes and stuff from growing everywhere. But then later in the night, I would take my truck into town and return to the construction area where I had found a bunch of metal sheets when I was here last.
God, there's so many sheets in this place. This is actually so good. Gotten like close to 40 sheets now from just looting like these houses. Yeah, there we go. Almost over 40 sheets. We're not even done looting this place entirely.
And with my car full of metal sheets, I would begin heading back home.
Oh my god. Okay, finally back home. For all those shrubs and trees. Alright, let's unload all the sheets next to the the furnace, and start smelting them down, hopefully, into what we can use for making the anvil.
I began unloading my truck of metal sheets and I would drop them near the furnace. Then I would smelt these down into an iron chunk. Once I had over 20 of these, I would return over to my primitive forge and then craft these into something called an iron bar half. Unfortunately, 20 iron chunks wasn't enough to make the anvil, so I would repeat the process, and then soon enough, I had everything I needed to make the anvil.
Okay, we can finally craft an anvil after like hours. Oh my lord. We've got it. We've actually got it, finally. Okay, I'm just gonna try to pick it up and bring it to where everything else is and see if I can make the next thing I need, which I'm pretty sure I already have a bellows, so I should be able to build one. I can make a bellow, and then I just need the anvil and the rest of the stuff, and I can make a bigger forge. This has been taking so long to do.
Yeah, seriously, after hours and hours of grinding and looting and building all of this, we finally had exactly what we need to build an advanced forge. It was finicky to get the placement right at first, but in the end, we finally did it.
Oh my god, finally. I've been trying to place this freaking forge down for like 10-15 minutes and it just wouldn't let me place it for the longest time, but we finally have it. Man, this thing is crazy looking. Now I just gotta clean up a bit and maybe start walling this in. I think it's time to start walling this area in a bit.
So for a little while, I did just that. I would rearrange things in the area and start building the walls to my foraging workshop. It took a minute to figure out a layout I wanted for this build, but I even managed to build an advanced furnace, which, to be honest, I don't know if I missed something, but it seems like the advanced furnace and the simple furnace are like the exact same thing, but one is far more expensive to build. But nonetheless, I continued on clearing off the ground and organizing the loot, and then I would head to bed. In the morning, I began adding some more tiling down, which would make up the flooring for this building. And after multiple days of building and constructing, I had finished mapping out the walls to this building and rearranged the layout of some crafting stations. And I even installed some sinks I could tap to water barrels on the roof. And eventually, I had also completed the flooring in the workshop with tiling. Then, soon enough, the workshop was finally complete.
So, I just need to put some lighting in here, but for the most part, this thing is done. Like, I'm gonna keep it a buck 50. Like, I think the tiles, like the ceramic tiles, I committed to it, but like in another time, another place, I don't think I would ever do this again, because like it actually takes so much resources and so much cement and so much clay just to fill in a room at this size. It takes so long to do. And yeah, well, we have the forges built. We have both the advanced furnace and the advanced forge. The only unfortunate thing that I got kind of scammed on is that apparently it seems like the advanced furnace is the exact same thing as the primitive one and or the simple one. Tomorrow, I want to try to mess around with building some gear. We can actually make some armor now, which I think is really cool. However, it's going to cost a lot of this crap, a lot of stuff to make. And also, I don't really know what the best weaponry would be to make, but I do want to mess around with some of these. I have a few more things I want to do, but ultimately, I want to clear that mall out. And now that this is done, we can get a move on. We can start finally making some armor and some tools and start killing some Zeds.
Now that my forge was finally built, I figured it was time to check up on my goals I had made for myself a while ago. And I even added a few things to my list that I would also like to do at some point, like build a chicken farm, build a road, and a parking lot for cars, and some of the more background things like leveling up my metalworking and other skills. Sometimes in a game like this, it's good to set some goals for yourself, because at the end of the day, it's up to you to come up with ways to keep things interesting. Zomboid doesn't really have much of an end game other than survive, so why not have some fun with it and build some cool shit? That's how I love to play this game, at least. But later on, I would get back to things by starting off with cooking some food in my kitchen. Then I figured it was time to finally finish up my garage. So I spent a little while adding gravel flooring, and once that was done, I would start looking into possible armors I can make. Gold, copper, aluminum. All right, what can we make? What can we make?
weaponry. Not a whole lot of options here, it seems like. There's only like maces, clubs. Could try to make a club. I don't know like how good they are. Mace head. Wires metalworking level 7. Oh my god. We're only level 2. Not even level 2. We're only level 1.
Yeah, it's safe to say that even though my forage and workshop is done, I still have a lot of work I need to do before I can even build a full armor set. So for now, I would put a pin in this and return to it another time, and would distract myself with other mind-numbing tasks around the base, and later make a fish fillet sandwich from scratch, cause why not? I really enjoy all the new cooking ingredient stuff in this build, but after all this, I would take my car over to the river's edge next to my base and collect some clay. I had another mod that simplifies the way to get clay, since in build 42, getting clay is very tedious and it requires a lot of foraging and running around. This just adds a mechanic that I think should just exist in the base game. So yeah, I was able to craft clay from dirt using water and a strainer, and after a whole day of doing this, I had over 100 clay. Then on the following day, my carrots and sweet potatoes I had planted were finally ready for harvest and bearing seeds. So I would use these and go cook up some more meals for the days ahead. And then I would begin expanding dirt pathways in front of my base and towards the new workshop. Now around this time, I would also begin working on a road by building a small section within the walls of my base. Then I would begin heading out the castle walls in the direction of the river. I chose this side of the base to build the road from because ultimately it would just be a shorter distance I would need to build. I would also get a little too exhausted to continue for the day, so I would head back home and sleep off the night. And in the morning, I would clear out some overgrowth within the walls and get back to constructing the road. And for a little while, this is pretty much all I would do because I wanted to get a head start on that road project.
Oh no. I have so much farther to go. Oh man, what am I doing? It's gonna take me hours to do.
So for now, I would put a stop to the road project and get back to other things. I will have to continue this because it's really important that I finish this to make trips into town a lot easier. Plus, it just looks kinda cool. But for now, I would head home and whip up some dinner and then sleep off the night. I woke up pretty early in the morning, so I used this time to get back into the workshop. I would just mindlessly screw around with all the crafting stuff and do a little bit of tool maintenance on some axes, and then I would dedicate this day to leveling up my blacksmithing skill.
I just forge a fuck ton of knives, get my blacksmithing skill up. Not my metalworking skill.
Dedicating the rest of the day to leveling up my metalworking skill was pretty much the goal for right now. After I got my skill to level 2, I went back in my house to read the next series of metalworking books. Then, once I had the XP boost I needed, I would return to my forge and I would repeat the process by crafting more knives. Again, the only reason why I chose to do small knives was because they were just the cheapest thing I could craft to level up with. But I'm sure there may be a slightly better method out there, and if you guys know of any, please let me know in the comments. But for now, I would just repeat this process of forging knives and then sharpening them at my grindstone, and then you guessed it, reading more metalworking books. I had originally gone into town to scrap electrical appliances for a material called scrap electronics. The reason being was because my generator back at home was starting to get some wear and tear and I need to repair it. Now, I just happened to get a little lucky to stumble across a trailer full of chickens. So I would hitch them to my truck and stop at the nearby fire station to loot and scrap a few electrical appliances, and by morning I would start heading back home.
What the fuck, bro? Dude, what is this? What is wrong with this game?
I needed to get these chickens into a pen so they can start producing some eggs for me. However, this drive alone took me almost all day to get back home because I would stop every so often to clear out the overgrowth in my path. But eventually, I would make it home.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Okay, hold on. We're gonna have to go around. I don't think this trailer can fit in here. I hope it fits on the other side, or else I'm gonna be pissed. Wait, no, hold on. Is it the same height? Hold on. Let me actually double check. 4 tiles high. I think it's not gonna fit. It's the same height. All right. Looks like we're gonna have to bring the trailer in. Not the trailer, really, the chickens in one by one. So we'll leave them in the trailer for now. I'll just build like a pen for them in the morning. But for now, let's just sleep. So I went inside and would head up to bed. On the following day, I needed some more logs for building a chicken coop and pen. So I took my van to the tree line and chopped down some trees for logs. And after my truck was full of logs, I would head back home and saw them to begin constructing a space for my chickens. It took about 2 days worth of building, but eventually it was ready for them. And one by one, I would transport each chicken into their new home. Now, this is something I found out about chickens. Apparently, they tend to maintain themselves up until winter, so I won't need to feed them. However, I did build some animal troughs in their pen, which would be used for collecting
providing rainwater so this way they can drink. But for the most part, these chickens will be completely passive and will yield me a reliable source of protein from their eggs from this point on. Then later I took my car into the garage and began unloading the trunk of all the new loot I had gotten in town from the fire department. And after the base was organized and all the loot was put away, I figured I should start practicing my tailoring skill since it would be needed for forging some armor later on. With that in mind, I began reading some tailoring books, and once that was done, I would practice adding and removing patches to my clothing to eventually get to level 2 in tailoring.
There we go. Level 2 tailoring. Okay, so we can make forearm, shoulder, thigh, and shin, and a face mask. Oh, we can make a spiked glove.
I'd finally got my metalworking skill to level 5, which now unlocked a few things I could craft, including some armor and a spiked club. I was a little curious about some of these weapons, so I went ahead and crafted a spiked club to check it out.
First ever crafted weapon. Oh, is this a long blunt? Oh no. I'm not good with long blunts. Maybe we will go work on the road project and start heading to town because I do need to kill some zombies and collect their clothing for tailoring stuff and part of crafting. Which I don't have leather strips, and I'm also running low on bread and all sorts of things. Take my truck into town. You know what? Scratch that. I'm gonna go fish because I haven't done it in a minute. And we could actually use some more protein. And I think it's better to fish in the rain.
Eventually, I would get back to building the road, but for now, I needed a break from the grind, and I found fishing kind of fun. Plus, like I said, I could use a restock on fish for protein. Eggs only do so much for hunger. So, for a little while, I would just fish by the river and catch some food for the week.
Ooh, what kind of fish is that? It fought pretty well. 32 centimeter, let's go. Oh, damn, the hunger rating on that is crazy.
I went back home to fillet and store fish in my kitchen, and then would cook up a nice protein-rich fish and egg roast. Afterwards, I would head to sleep, and on the following day, I would get back to building the road. For a while, I would pretty much just do this, and occasionally come back home to handle a few things around the base. But for now, this would be my main goal. I needed to get this road done because I've been talking about it non-stop, and I think it's time we finally finish it.
I think they might make like a halfway base at some point up here. Especially when I go to clear the mall, I'm gonna need like a place to come and rest and hide. Oh, this is so much nicer, man. I can finally just drive straight home at full speed and not have to dodge bushes and freeze. 100% worth it. Wait, the road is right there. Oh, fuck, I'm actually right here. Oh my god, finally. We're almost there. And done. It looks a little weird. Yeah, maybe I should. Maybe I should knock that light post out. I might like drive full speed into it coming down this road.
And finally, the road project was complete. This project alone took me over 9 hours of my life, so please like this video and subscribe. But now that I can reach the city and travel back and forth a lot easier, I can finally start working towards my main goal, clearing the mall. Also, building a set of armor in my forge. But first, I would head into town to look for a few things. First of which was more thread and leather strips. I went around some neighborhoods and looted some houses, and also dedicated a good amount of time clearing out the gas station again since some new hordes began migrating over to it. I also had used the gas station to refill all my empty gas cans, and after a while of running over zombies with some hot-wired cars, I was eventually able to do this. Then, once I was done, I tried to figure out a solid plan from here.
Actually, wait, well, I do need to get metal. I don't know, maybe I don't know what to do right now. I don't know if I go and make a bunch of armor and weapons. Truthfully, I don't know what weapon is the best to blacksmith. Every single weapon I've used is just breaks on me too quickly. And look at, oh my god, look at all these zombies here, bro. This is gonna take ages. I think I know what I need to do. I need to make my halfway house so that I can rest. We're gonna have to get our guns and everything ready, some Molotovs and stuff, some gear, and wait, is that a baby lamb? Are the ones that got loose? Take him with me.
Yeah, I will admit I was a little torn on what exactly I needed to do at this very moment. However, I did break up all my plans I need to do from this point on. First off, I need to craft some armor, which you already know. Secondly, I don't think I want to forge any weapons since none of them to my knowledge will benefit me in short blunt since that's my best combat skill. Also, not to mention, but that spike club I had made earlier on ended up breaking on me within like 20 swings, making it a complete waste of resources, so I'd rather just stick with the traditional metal pipe since I don't want my weapons breaking on me while I'm clearing out the mall. Speaking of which, while I'm clearing out the mall, I will need a safe place to rest and restock on food and ammo that isn't that far away. With that in mind, I do plan on building some kind of halfway base between me and the mall. It won't be anything crazy, just a place with all the necessities. So yeah, I plan to do all this, but not in any particular order, except saving the best for last, clearing the Louisville Mall. So for a short while, I would run around base doing a little bit of organization and searching for guns and ammo to stock up on and put in the back of my truck. I would also gather some tools, logs, and nails and then load them into the back of my truck and start heading back to town. Reason being was because I'd figured I may as well go scope out a good spot to put down the halfway base.
Okay, so I've pretty much done everything except for make the armor. I still need to get stuff. I kind of underestimated just how expensive, how much of a grind this is, but I figured I might just make a little bit of a halfway base right here. I don't know if I want it to be too close to the mall, but I think this is a decent distance. Yeah, we'll build it right here on this pavement.
So I would saw up some logs and begin constructing my little halfway base. Maybe I'll just call it a fob or something from here on out, because I like that a little better than just calling it a halfway base every time. Yeah, anyways, I would fill in the walls and build a door and then close off the roof. After that, I made a little extension off the fob to act as a little bit of an airlock to bring my car in if needed. Then I would head into town and stop at the nearby storage units and look for some furniture like a mattress and a small couch. I would bring these back to my fob and place them down and head back out to collect a sink and a couple of countertops to then later add it to my fob. And after installing them inside, I would build a rain barrel on the roof so that I can get some fresh water from the sink. And then with a few minor adjustments to the airlock, the fob was now done.
All right, well, a little halfway house is done. Have a place to rest, get some water, or some stuff. And now all we gotta do is start stocking up our guns, loading up our magazines, and build some armor. I have been collecting all sorts of like clothing and things to rip up to use, like leather items. I've been getting all sorts of metal stuff, and I think it's finally time we go back to base, make some armor, and we start working on clearing this mall. I'm getting tired of this playthrough. It's so nice that I've actually been able to build this road. This took me so long to do, but it is so worth it. I can actually finally just drive straight home and not have to run over bushes and little saplings and such.
So after getting back to my base, I didn't waste any time. By this point, I had collected all the needed items to finally begin forging some proper armor. I went straight into my workshop and began looking at all the different things I could craft, starting with the forearm armor.
Okay, we've made our first metal armor. It's only for the forearm, but it's the start. We have 2 forearm pieces. Look at this thing. Oh yeah, there it is. Right along my wrist. That's cool. Now we have both of them on. I'm gonna make a full set, whatever I can make.
So I just finally made my first piece of real armor. Turns out, after crafting this, I actually accumulated enough XP to get almost level 6 in metalworking. I also figured I would go in and read another book of tailoring, since forging armor pieces also give you a little bit of XP in this as well. Then afterwards, once I had an XP boost in tailoring, I would return to the forge and start crafting a metal face mask.
Oh shit, man. Look at that. That's cool. Hold on, I gotta take off the cap and stuff. Oh, that's crazy looking. That is so cool. How does that affect my aiming though? Vision impairment, like 50%. That's crazy. So if I want to shoot, I'm gonna want to take this off.
And after crafting the metal face mask, I had gotten enough XP to reach level 6 in metalworking. Best part about this was I had now just unlocked a bunch of more armor types that I could craft. So to start with, I would read the next metalworking book and then sleep off the night. In the morning, I would return to the forge to begin working on the rest of my armor. So now that I finally had everything ready, it's officially time to take over the mall. I had built a workshop, an entire road to town, and now I had all the guns, ammo, and some brand new armor. This has been a long time coming, especially since it's been over 3 months since I've started this journey, but now I'm actually ready. So with that being said, I packed up everything and loaded into my truck and began heading towards the fob I had built near the mall. I would spend roughly a day here unloading my truck and then prepping for later. Then I would return back home to cook up some food to use for the next couple days while I was out here. I would also take the tow truck with me back towards the mall, which I also planned on using to grab cars in the park parking lot, and for some other stuff which you'll see soon. Now, when I got back to the mall area, I would start grabbing as many cars as I could from the lot and return them next to my fob. The plan was if I needed to, or maybe ran out of ammo, I could use these vehicles here as weapons and just run down all the zombies. So after a little while of going back and forth, I would start hot wiring all these cars and check if they had any fuel in them. If they did, I would park them in these empty spaces out front my fob, and if they didn't, I would just tow them off to the side. I would also grab a vehicle with a light bar, which I intend on using to bunch up all the zombies and also to help with luring them out of the mall. Then after a little while, I was pretty much ready to get things started.
All of these cars here are going to be used for the greater purpose, and I have an idea. So first I just need to get some campfires, but I'm going to be using this guy here. Kind of lure some zombies around the parking lot and turn that into a bit of a distraction to lure them out. I'm going to quickly just go and take a look at how things are in the parking lot. Kind of get a feel of what we're after.
So I would take my truck over to the lot and place down a couple fire pits. I probably only really needed one of these, but the plan was to use this to light them on fire and save my Molotovs for later. I began taking my tow truck and the police car over to the mall, and I had also noticed an ambulance in the parking lot which I could also use for luring zombies with. So I would hop in the ambulance for a moment and flip on the alarm to bait all the zombies over to it while I would head over to the fire pits I had built before. Then I took some logs and sticks and would light a fire. Now I just gotta get the attention of the horde and begin clearing this thing.
Oh my god! Oh, just walk on the fire. There we go. That's what we're looking for. Nice. Now I can just let them attack that ambulance. I'm gonna bring this one to the other side. So they'll bunch up there and take care of the zombies over here. Let's get my armor on. Oh my god. Oh, look at them all. Look at them all. If I can actually fully clear this place, I will never need to go loot anywhere again. We'll have so much stuff.
I had spent a couple hours clearing out the front of the mall. I would occasionally run near the entrance of the mall to see if there were any zombies lurking around. It seemed like I had finished clearing out this half of the mall. Now all that was left was the other side. So I would relocate the police car with the siren near the north entrance and continue what I had started.
Just keep coming.
Yeah, I figured the zombies were getting stuck inside some of the stores and hallways and not properly pathing out the main entrance. So I would grab a sledgehammer and break open a couple areas for the zombies to find a way out. I would also use this method as a means to light up a couple hallways along the backside of the mall, since there's sometimes a chance that hundreds of zombies could be hiding back there. But nonetheless, I would continue clearing this place.
Hold on, I have an idea. I'm gonna leave this area for a minute. I know where I can find a generator because I found it sometime before. When I was clearing out this section here, there's a generator I can use right over here. I'll hook it up next to the mall so I have some lights on the inside, and I'll smash away to bring the ambulance into the building. Take this with me. We're gonna drop the generator right here, I think. There we go. We have some lights. Nice. Okay. We just got to get some more on, and then we are able to... We should be able to bring the siren here. Maybe we'll bring the fire truck inside here, or whatever that sheriff car is supposed to be. Yeah, we can put it like right down here in the middle. I think some of the lights don't read. Yeah, that's probably the problem. I can maybe bring some floodlights in here. Hold on.
So with the generator now hooked up and giving power to this portion of the mall, I would use this to brighten up some areas to make it less of a risk to run around in here without a flashlight. I would also head across the street to another building and grab a couple floodlights and then set them down inside the mall to add some light in here. Afterwards, I would get a little tired, so I'd return to my fob and sleep off the night.
All right, it is morning. Now let's head back to the mall. Let's bring one of those cars into the middle. Turn on the sirens, and let's see if we can try to lure any of the zombies out of their little like hiding holes, because they're all like kind of inside stores up on the second levels and stuff. So it's gonna be a little hard to clear them out when they're hiding in there. I'm gonna park right here. All right, let's see if we can move these floodlights a little closer so that we can actually manage to see a little better over here. There we go. Perfect. Looks like we cleared a lot of them out. I'm not seeing any, but they're definitely in here somewhere. No way we finished this place.
It may have seemed like I've cleared out the mall, but that wasn't the case. There were still a bunch of zombies in here somewhere, just hiding in random stores or back rooms. But I had to find them because I wanted to take this mall 100%. Not a single zombie left in here. With that in mind, I would first hit up the gun store and loot it for all the ammo inside since I could use a resupply. Then I would take all the excess back to my fob and offload my inventory, and then I would return home for a short break. I have to admit, I was getting a little homesick and I could use some more food. So when I got home, I would check up on my chickens, and I found that they have certainly been busy while I was gone, leaving tons of eggs for me. I took all these eggs and I would head inside my house and see what I could make for food.
You know what? Just to celebrate the fact that we have done so much work to clear the mall, we're gonna make a fucking cake. I don't know how to do it, but we're gonna do it. Ooh. Hell yeah, man. That's so cool. Dude, I wish... That's so cool. I'm so glad they added more things that you can make.
I enjoyed a couple slices of cake, and then I would bake some muffins. And I would also cook up some eggs and then take them back to the mall with me. However, I had to make a stop along the way to collect some logs because I planned on building a set of stairs to access the roof of the mall. Once I had the logs I needed, I would saw them out front of the mall and begin to build a way up. I also figured I should add some fencing around the edges just in case, so I don't make the mistake of falling off from up here.
We are now on the roof. We'll place a generator up here. Actually move our tent base up here, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. For now, we're just gonna go sleep.
I returned to my fob and would sleep off the night. And with a new day ahead of us, I returned to the mall and moved the generator up to the roof. The reason I did all this was because every generator has a radius of 25 tiles around it that it can actually power. So I was hoping I could use this to align the generator with one of the light switches inside of the mall that could light up the entire main floor. And once it was placed, I would make an entrance to the second floor from outside and take a look around for the light switch and clean up some zombies. But I then realized once I went back down to the first floor, for some reason the generator no longer reaches the light switches down here. Not sure if this was intentional or not, but I could have sworn this used to work.
Surely this is powered. What? Did it not reach from the rooftop? Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Hold on, let's light up the second floor. Maybe if I move the generator here and power the second floor lights, or even the main building?
I went back up to the roof and made a slight adjustment to the generator since I had just found the power switch to possibly light up the entire second floor. So I went back down and killed a couple zombies in my way and gave it a shot.
I don't know if this is the light I'm looking for, but I'm really hoping it is. Please? Oh, yeah. Okay, so this whole second floor should be lit now. The only thing I don't know about is the bottom floor. We're gonna have to head down there and check. Okay, it's looking like it's not. Well, now we have most of the second floor kind of lit up, and we're just gonna go around and just kind of clear out whatever remaining zombies there are. Kind of take over this place, I suppose. I think it's clear. For the most part, I mean, there's probably some, like 1 or 2, you know, just hiding in a room or 2 that will eventually show itself to me. But I've circled this entire mall 2 times now, killed a couple hordes that just surprised me. I think for the most part, this entire mall is safe. It's ours, and I can actually, like, there's so much loot here. I don't even know what to do with. Can't believe I actually managed to do this. This took so long. It's done. We've cleared them all.
Finally, it was done. From my humble beginnings of building a home inside the castle, to building a road that stretches for miles, and even a forge where I can smith armor and weapons, to now fully laying down control over the entire Louisville Mall. I had spent hours clearing every room and store, checking for any possible zombies still lurking around. I had been in this run for well over 3 months now. I've done a lot, and if you think I should keep this series going, please let me know what you think down below, and give me some ideas for what you'd like to see. Also, I just wanted to mention, if you've gotten this far, please consider subscribing and leaving a like, as I'm trying to hit 100,000 subscribers this year. Your support means the world to me. And if you'd like to support this channel further, I had recently opened a Patreon page, and I'll leave a link down to it below. And if you're one of the beautiful people on the side of the screen now, thank you so much for your everlasting support. I love you guys, and thanks again for watching. Anyways, until next time.